Good morning, and today I am going to be making the Stars Hollow sign. So I've pulled together a few different, in my wood drawer, I have different kebab type skewers that I was playing around with for measurements. I also had some clothesline wooden pins, and I had some wooden ornaments with a little wooden round shaped bead at the top of them. So for this sign, and it took a long time for me to figure out what am I going to try to use to make this, I ended up buying two items to use for the sign. First, these I think they were called mixing paddles or something. These were from the dollar store. They were plastic, and I even thought I might cut out the actual piece that the sign goes on this because I knew it was thin and flexible and I could probably cut it. I didn't realize at the time that this whole shape and the top of this is what I ended up using to cut the top of the Stars Hollow sign. So I cut like a round shape on the top of this, and it came out a little lopsided, but it's close enough that I might end up just using it. And then I ended up cutting a slice of this, which you'll see is going to be, I think, the top of the bridge, that arch piece here. I'll pull it out so you can see. I cut out a slice of this that I'm going to probably glue flat. This is like the vertical. So I'm going to end up gluing it down flat like this to rest this on top. So I'll show you how it looks as I put it all together. I forgot, the most important piece to making this sign is this material called plastic canvas. And I found this at Walmart in their crochet section. And what I really liked about it was that it was bendable, so I knew I could cut it. And if you turn it sideways, I thought it was the perfect size little squares for my tiny little village to make this sign. So I went ahead and cut one little piece in approximately how big I wanted to use it for my sign. And then I cut it again at an angle so that the little diamond shapes would be at the right angle. Does that make sense? All right, so those are all the supplies that I am using. I am also using a hot glue gun. All right, here we go. Let's assemble. So the first thing I had to do was open up my wooden clothespin and get off this little metal spring. And these are gonna work as my bases. I thought if I have two of them, it almost reminds me of those Bob's barricades, it would better balance and stand in my Christmas village. So let's see if I'm right, if this is gonna work out. So the first thing I'm gonna do is hot glue gun down one of these little skinny skewers, the skinniest ones I had, in the bottom ridge of the clothespins. And I'm gonna separate it enough where I think it will look like a good size for my village. All right, so my only contingency is I don't have a saw, and I'm not sure how hard or easy it's gonna be to cut these skewers. So I brought some little jewelry pliers I had, so I'm gonna try that out. But first I wanna kind of measure where I think I should cut this skewer. Do from there to there. I would need it cut about, I don't know what that is, 2.5 inches maybe? So let's try with our first pliers. Oh, that worked great. Awesome. Have a little hair there. All right, perfect. All right, let's do this. see, so because this wasn't perfectly straight, it's a little crooked. But from the back, it looks good. Alright, we're gonna now glue the top sticks over the front half here. It stands! It stands! All right, guys, so I was looking at the actual sign because I remembered that I had missed a little gap in here. You can see it right there. And the other thing that I wasn't too crazy about was these little sticks. I don't know, it was a little distracting to me, and it's because on the original one, yeah, there's the tiniest little stick up, but not that much. So the other thing I didn't really like on my first template try was this piece right here was much too high. It needs to be much shorter. And then this top section of the fencing is almost the same size as the bottom. I think it's only like one layer smaller. And in the actual sign, if you wanna try to look up close, you can see that the top section should be about half this size and the bottom should be a little bit longer. The problem though is that as I used these little clothespins, the holes were already predetermined. So that kind of forced me to do the spacing where this is. So in my round 2 version, what I'm gonna do is I am gonna make this section a little bit smaller. So I'm gonna bring this down. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller and shorter as well. I'm gonna try not to use any of these sticks at all. I think I'm just gonna stick the ball, the little bead, right on the top of this post. So I'm gonna start cutting out my mesh and getting everything ready. The other thing, I don't know if you can really see, but I printed off a sample of the picture here, which I actually wanna take out. And here, if I slide it over, you can see it's a little bit too short for this, there you go, over here you can see, for this size stand. It's close, it's really close to being good, but I want it to be a little bit more perfect. So I'm gonna bring in this post just a little bit more so that when I print this, it's the perfect size. I've already got one printed and cut, and then I'll print it a second time to put it on the opposite side. But I already know I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna paint the whole thing white and then add the picture on because I'm too nervous to get white on the actual little stand here. All right, so I'm gonna keep this up for just kind of a reference for what I kind of don't wanna do. All right, so let's separate another one of these. Here were the ornaments that I got those little beads from, so I'm going to set those aside for the end. And then let's start rebuilding our sign. Oh, another thing I want to make sure I do is when I'm gluing this together, I want to make sure that the legs are kind of flared out more so it balances better, because this one's a little unstable. Oh. All right, so we have a problem. The hole on this paddle is bigger than this hole. Not by much, but it's a little bit bigger. So it means I have to make a bigger top than what I really want. I really want a smaller one, but this is such a hard material to cut. I could never cut a perfect circle. So I'm just gonna do my best. It's not gonna be perfect. And it cracked right there. So I decided to add an extra little dowel here to help split those legs open more, so that when it rests against it, they're at more of an angle versus going straight down where it's more unstable. Oh my God, it looks so good. This is so cute. It even looks like there's a little snow up here where some of the glue settled. It looks like a little snow. So cute.
Tuscan countryside.
Then I'd go to Italy to all around this.
We could also go with a Castelli English country garden theme. Maybe we could add a little stenciling on the ceiling.